So tonight was night 2 of TCM's Trailblazing Women. I did not watch all of the films on there. I watched one film. Half the films they were showing tonight I've seen. I watched one of the films, and then another one is playing kind of late at night, and so I'm hoping to watch it tomorrow. But the one I watched tonight is Ida Lupino's 1950 film Outrage, which stars Mala Powers as a woman who is raped and then suffers post-traumatic stress from it and runs away from home and finds herself in a new sort of good community, but then her past comes to haunt her. And it deals a lot with both the way society treats rape, and like 60 years ago, it's not much better today, but it is somewhat better. But it shows you how universally shitty people are treated, victims of sexual assault. And then it also shows you just the devastating effects it can have on the victim, especially in a time when there was no support system. And there's still, like, lots of women are assaulted with no support to lean on. And, you know, it was remarkable watching this film with people live tweeting, because there were lots of questions raised about the way men were acting around her. And it's like, that's how men were / sometimes still are. And then, you know, someone was like, when did we start having counseling for rape victims? And the first rape crisis center wasn't opened until the 1970s. So 20 years after this film, and only 40 years ago. It's insane. And just look at the way that we treat rape victims today. It's just impossible to realize that, like, this was 60 years ago that Ida Lupino's making a film about this and trying to get eyes on this subject, and it's still just as messed up. And it's like, this is why we need women making films. We need women who know how women feel to make films about how women feel. That's what's so imperative about having female writers and directors, and not just actresses. Actresses are great, but they are a funnel for what is being created. And if what's being created is being siphoned through a male's point of view, it's not going to be the same. It's just not. And that's why films like this, made by women, are so powerful. Earlier this year, I watched another film on this topic by Allison Anders that I believe is still on Netflix, but it might not be on Netflix right now. I don't know. It was on Netflix when I watched it, called Things Behind the Sun, and it's sort of inspired by her own experience with sexual assault. And she has been curating this and talking during this co-hosting, I guess, during TCM's Trailblazing Women, and she's talked about how Outrage was a film that helped her realize that she could tell her story, and so she made her own film from her own experiences. And it's like, if we don't have women making films about their experiences, how are we going to inspire other women to make films about their experiences? And so I just really appreciate this programming and the things that they're daring to show. Like, you could have done Ida Lupino, and you could have just done The Hitchhiker, and like, but everyone's seen The Hitchhiker, you know. And it's like, it's great that they're highlighting some of these films that people haven't seen. And God, Lupino's such a great filmmaker. Her use of frame and lighting and space is just astounding. And then she gets such brilliant performances from her actors. It's a shame she only made a handful of films. She did do a lot of television, though. Like, a lot of television. She's an unsung hero, I think. Still, I love her. So this was 1950s Outrage. I watched it on TCM. I'm not sure if it's available on home video. It's a bummer if it's not, because wouldn't it be great to have like a whole Ida Lupino set and just like all of her films released in one collection? I feel like that would be fantastic. So I highly recommend this film, 1950s Outrage. I highly recommend that you watch everything that TCM is showing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're going to learn a whole lot, I promise. And it's just an amazing collection of films that they're highlighting and showing and spotlighting these amazing filmmakers. I'm just so grateful.